Zorio, yeah, I really want to weigh in on this Q&A that you have because I was kind of late to the party on the last one. So yeah, politics, what a great topic. I mean, basically, how do you get all of these subjects with their own version of subjective truth and their own opinions and their own agendas really to like cooperate together so we can create the good life for everybody, right? I mean, basically that's the question. So yeah, let me introduce my own personal opinions on this by maybe using the standard B school trick, right? So you get promoted to manager, and the first thing they do is send you to a whole bunch of cheesy training courses, right, to tell you how to be a good manager. And one of the tricks they use is the bag of jelly beans trick, right? So they haul out a bag of jelly beans and they say, okay, see this bag of jelly beans? I want everybody in the room to guess how many jelly beans are in this bag. And so everybody writes down a piece of paper, they collect all the answers, and then they take the average. And lo and behold, more likely than not, the average of everybody's guesses is going to be more accurate, it's going to be closer to the real number of jelly beans in the bag than any individual guess was. And, the moral for a new manager here is just obvious, right? I mean, it's like sometimes, if you create the right conditions, the team can actually be smarter than any individual in the team. And yeah, you really want to create a team that's like this, that can really outthink you. And if you ever like meet somebody who's a big boss, has been really way promoted, and you say, I am really smarter than this person is. It's like, why did they get promoted? Why are they? Well, this is the answer, right? I mean, it's like, yeah, they may not be that smart themselves, but they have the ability to create a team environment where the team can really outthink them. And they can use this to harness this to like really push their careers forward, right? And so, we can use this as kind of like a political, thing too, to draw some lessons, right? Because, we really want to create a society which is better than any individual could create this society, right? So what are these conditions? What are the conditions under which, a team can outthink any individual member of the team? Now, in these cheesy courses, they give us three basic conditions, right? First condition is independence. Everybody's guess as to how many jelly beans are in the bag has to be completely independent of everybody else's guess. You can't like look off your neighbor, find what their guess is. You have to guess yourself independently and completely uninfluenced by anybody else. Second condition, uncoercion, right? You can't be threatened. Anybody who guesses more than 10 jelly beans is going to get fired. There has to be complete freedom for the guesses that the people give, right? And third one is numbers, right? So if we had 10,000 people guessing as to how many jelly beans were in this bag, the answer would probably be spot on. But if we only have 4 or 5 people guessing, the answers can be wide off the mark. So the more viewpoints you have, the better the team decision is going to be, right? And it's as simple as that. So yeah, let's translate these into a political arena, right? So the first one, independence of decisions. Clearly, there has to be a free press. Democracies can fail, but if you look at where democracies fail, typically before they fail, there's a huge propaganda campaign. Classic example is the Weimar Republic. Another classic example is this stupid Iraq War that we're in. A gigantic propaganda campaign that everybody just bought into and made the wrong team decision, right? Second one is uncoercion. Okay, another clear one, right? Personal freedom is paramount. A society of free people will outthink a society of slaves every time, right? And it's not just political freedom either. Remember, it's economic freedom, right? A hungry person is not a free person. So people have to feel like they have a certain minimum standard. They have to feel confident that they can make these decisions without personal ramifications. And the third one is numbers. Yeah, obvious. This is obvious, right? Societies where they don't let their women vote, I mean, they're just like lobotomizing, half of their brain power, right? They're just chopping it right in half. And the same thing goes for minorities and other people in the margins. Bring them into society, right? Let them contribute their ideas and their opinions. And the more people you bring in, the smarter your society is going to be, the better your team decisions are going to be. It's just as simple as that, really. So, you also ask, well, how does this influence how I vote? Well, I'll give you a small example. I live in the state of California, and the first time Arnold Schwarzenegger stood for election, I did not vote for him because I thought he was just too doctrinaire. I thought he was just too rigid on the party line, and I didn't vote for him. But he was elected anyways, and sure enough, halfway through his first term, it was a gigantic train wreck. So what did he do? He did what George Bush should have done. He fired all of his advisors and hired some Democrats and some other people who would do some opinion polling and find out what the average Californian really thinks is going on and what the average Californian really thinks is wrong with the state. And he was able to like totally turn it around. And so next time he stood for election, I actually did vote for him because I really admired his ability to straightforwardly admit he made a mistake and take all these other opinions into account. Now, I don't want to oversimplify the case. I mean, life is a lot more complicated than just counting jelly beans. So, obviously, there's more to it than this. This is just like a small analogy, as an illustrative example of the kind of ways we should be thinking in, right? So, basically, the whole dichotomy between objective and subjective it's a false dichotomy, right? So, objective truth has been completely discredited. So, it would seem like the only other alternative we have is our own personal subjective truths, right? But this really isn't the case. There exist mechanisms where we can take everybody's subjective truths, everybody's subjective opinions, and combine them together to really create an answer, a solution that's smarter than any individual person in the society could give. And we call this intersubjective truth. And this is the kind of truth that I believe in, intersubjective truth. And yeah, so thanks so much for a great Q&A topic.